When time shall slip its cog in place and spin its line of lovely blaze, then love and peace come face to face. One of these days, when sorrow can nowhere be found, and greed shall lay its weapons down, and hate give up without a sound. One of these days, when love by tender instrument, through circumstance and incident, shall peace and love again invent. One of these days, to see this from within the soul, we must be patient and consoled, to know the joy that's ours to hold. One of these days, and so with earnest inward eyes, we mend the post where duty lies, and seek to win the precious prize. One of these days, one of these days. That was One of These Days by Smalltown Poets. And I played it straight from the charts of the Morristown Uke Jam. So take the link in the video description, download the free ukulele song sheet, grab your own ukulele, and you can play right along with this video. And if you'll be anywhere near Morristown, New Jersey, come out and play with us. Now in just a moment, I'm going to do a tutorial on everything I played. And at the end, I'm going to do a slow motion, close-up play along that you might find helpful with all of those chord transitions, because let's face it, there are lots and lots and lots of those chord transitions. This was, if you couldn't tell, a piano song, really. So it's kind of laid out more like a piano song, but I wanted to create a version that was authentic to the original, because I really love that song. All right. First thing I'm going to tell you is, other than that last G, I didn't do any strumming. I didn't. I plucked. Mostly just plucked chords. The chords change so fast that it was mostly time shall slip its cog in place. But you noticed, just in between, there was an arpeggio, right? I did do that. Generally speaking, yes, I'm playing a low G ukulele. If you have a high G, my dog has fleas, right? If you have a high G, you can still use the same chord chart. It's exactly the same. You might choose to do a slight bit different on the arpeggio in between. You might do like this. Sorry, I did it again. I think of my thumb. I played guitar for a long time, so I think of my thumb as the bass line, and that's why I like a low G ukulele. But if you're playing a high G ukulele, you might prefer to do the arpeggio on the 3 strings closer to the floor, because you can play them up like that then, and it'll be a linear progression of the arpeggio when you play it. But so there's only little bits where I played that in between, and it's where, when the timing lags, then I threw in a little bit of that. All right, now I don't know what else I have to talk about other than all of those chord transitions, so I think I'm gonna already jump up so that you can see how I handled them. And again, if you find an easier way, then go for it. But here is how I handled the chord transition. So right from the start, the verses are all the same, and the outro is basically just another verse. But so that you really have a verse and then the bridge. Are the way oh, and I did do an arpeggio in the bridge, didn't I? I'll show you that when I get there. All right, so here's all of those plucking. I'm plucking all 4 strings, all right? So from the G, when time shall slip, you notice your ring finger is kind of the stability point. It is staying on the same string, just going down 1 fret and back up 1. So G, D, G, and then the the G suspended fourth too. I drop a pinky, but everything else just stays where it is. And then back to the D again. My ring finger has stayed there this whole time. So, when time shall slip its cog in. And now here we go. Now I have to pick them all up. And I'm going to an E suspended second. And it's very close to the E5. I just wanna go from, right? That's what that chord transition does. So I move my index finger over one string and that's it. Remaining, leaving my second string open. And then, by the way, if you find it easier, you can always, in any of my song sheets, if there is a superscripted little number, like over the word spin, it has a second position G. That's what that little 2 means, right? So a G is here, but this is also a G. Here's also here, 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 here. Those are all G's. So my own little notation is I have that little superscripted number so that I know I'm playing this. Now here's why I'm doing that. Spin its line of... You see how easy that is? Because I have used this G, all I have to do to go from there to the B minor, or I should be plucking, so I pick up one finger, and then I drop it back down, and then I drop my pinky, and that's all I have to do. That's why I'm using that position of a G. So you can play the easier versions of these chords if you want, but generally speaking, this is one I didn't make lots of my song sheets I have, the version I play, and then I have an easier version in the same key that a beginner could play. I didn't bother making one for this because I think you probably wreck the song if I tried to make it too simple. It wouldn't be as attractive a song anymore. It wouldn't be as lovely. So anyway, I'm not going to go over an easier version. If you can find an easier version to play, go for it. But or if you can figure out an easier version, that is to say, if you can make this one easier, go for it. But so here I am then, second line. Spin its line of... You notice I'm not moving my fingers much. I've got this second position G here, barring the second fret, and I've got that. And then I just pick up one finger for the B minor, drop it back down for that G again, and then this is an alternate G added 9, right? That is the 9th. So that's why I'm doing that. I'm just drop that, and I could pick this finger up, but I don't bother. Spin its line of... And now I have to drop back to a D. And from here, you can think of your index finger as a stability point if you want, because it's going to spin around and stay in the same place, and you drop other fingers next to it for that D. Lovely place. And here I am, I'm going from a second position C, and then I just pick up 2 fingers, and I have a C5, right? And now the second line, yeah, that was the second line. You know what I didn't point out? Sorry. Generally speaking, second line, I play only the 3 low strings because that's where the melody is. And then at the end with the C's, I'll play all 4. But the rest of the line, I want to hear the melody strongly. And so instead of... It would just be sitting there on a D, right? A drone D. Instead of that, I just pluck the first 3, or the strings 2, 3, 4 from the floor, the low strings. And now I go back to plucking all 4. Okay, third line. Then now I change it. More arpeggios. There are less chord changes, so. So I'm going to do that riff, that arpeggio riff between each chord. Then love and peace come face to face. Okay, so from the C, my ring finger is going to stay on the same string. It's just going to slide down 1 fret. That's it. The rest of it picks up and changes though, so. And now I already have my index finger barring the second fret. It stays right there. pick up, my middle finger moves over one string, that's it. That's my B7. So from second position G to a B7 is right that two face. So I've got from this C, I just drop my pinky, that's the third position C. And then last line I do something a little funky. I pluck the high three strings, one of, I just want to go along with it. I'm plucking with my thumb and then the other three strings. One of these days. That's it. Each time I do that. One of these days. I don't know why that line gets its own style. All right. Now for the bridge. Throughout the bridge, I did a fast arpeggio. All right. Might take a little practice, but it's not hard. It's just the sequence. First string, you always count the strings from the floor. I don't know why. Somebody 400 years ago invented that, I suppose, for stringed instruments. Anyway, so on that E minor, I'm going 1, 4, 3, 2, right? And I'm not changing what I'm, the first three lines are all that. The last line is a bunch of bold plucks, but the first three lines, that's it. Instead of plucking at all, it's just the fast arpeggio. So I've got the E minor. When love I tender. Now from the E minor to the F sharp diminished, your middle finger is going to stay on the same string. It's just going to slide down one fret, right? So love by tender instrument. Now from there, you could switch this way if you want, because from there you're going to go to a D. Right? And then you're just going to pick it up again and pick it and put it down again. You're from your F sharp diminished. Actually, you know what? It's probably easier if you do the F sharp diminished this way. Let's try it. When love my tender instrument through circumstance and incident. Okay, that was easier, I think. I don't remember how I played it when I was going before, but so from the E minor, I am picking them all up. So I'm dropping this in preparation for the D. And then all I'm doing is picking it up again. Okay, and then B7. Shall peace and love again invent. Now here, you start with the B7, you start with the index finger flat across the second fret. Shall peace and love again. Now you notice my middle finger stays exactly in that point. My index finger just slides over to only cover, well, actually I could leave it there, couldn't I? Peace and love again. I could leave it if you want, or if you want to do a, more comfortable standard B, then just move it over 2 frets. Whichever you find easier. Peace and love again invent. Now here all I'm doing, I've got that B, and then C major 7. Oh, sorry. I was doing the wrong one. So from here, all I do is roll the index finger, and I've got the C major 7, only covering one string, right? So peace and love again invent. And then I pick them all up. Now here come back to the bold strums. Right? I've got this F sharp. It's in exactly the same shape as that D sharp is going to need to be. So that might be, one of the harder chords of the song, but from here, at least you get to duplicate it. Just slide down 2 frets. One of these days. And then from here, so I'm going days, and then you notice where it says low strings, right? The next 4 strings in a row, 4 chords in a row, I'm plucking only the low strings. And then I leave that chord right there, or I leave it right there, and I pluck all 4, and it's higher. So it was, right? You hear that 4th string, or the first string from the floor, only at the end. Okay, again, that was, sorry. And that's it. That's the entire song. So now I'm going to do a slow motion. Close-up Peilong, close-up on my left hand. And you can practice every single chord transition if you like. I'm going to go, I think, the first 2 verses and the bridge. Then the rest of the song is all the same chord transitions. So I won't duplicate all the way through there. But here goes. Slow motion. 5, 6, 7. When time shall slip its cock in place and spin its line of lovely lace, then love and peace come face to face. One of these days, when sorrow can nowhere be found, and greed shall lay its weapons down, and hate give up without a sound. One of these days, when love by tender instrument, through circumstance and incident, shall peace and love again invent. One of these days. Sorry. And that's it. See you Wednesday. Bye.